Yes, you guys, welcome back. I'm in EFC, this is Blue Lines CV, and today I'm here to bring you guys another news daily video. I'm going to focus on two stories, and they are going to be on the latest news surrounding Jan Oblak, and of course the news surrounding Ben Chilwell and Emerson as well. So we definitely have a ton of things to break down, discuss, and speak about for today. However, before I get into that, you guys, let me get the plugs out of the way first. Starting with the first plug, if you like today's video, then smash that like button. I want to get over 3,500 likes for today's video. And for the second plug, as you guys can see already, yeah, I got the new away kit for this season, and my first impressions, honestly, when you actually have the kit, it's a lot better. Like the fit, it feels very good. It hugs your figure. I really like the V-neck too. The details are on point. Everything looks sharp, you guys. And to be honest, you know, I am impressed with this kit. I do like it. And it's grown on me a lot more, you guys. So if you're planning to buy any club merchandise for this season, you guys, if you go to my description, you can use my affiliate links there. And if you do, you can use my discount code NEEDY10 to get a further 10% off your final orders. So what you guys waiting for? I'm here to take you guys up. And without wasting no more time, we start with the first story. And I think it's best that we tackle this Jan Oblak story first before moving on to the Ben and Emerson news. Now, this article was written by Ruben Uria. He is the journalist from Goal.com Spain, and personally I found it quite insightful and quite revealing. I'm going to summarize this article for you guys before breaking down the news and giving you guys my thoughts and opinions. To summarize, it seems like after Oblak's recent interview before that game prior versus RB Leipzig, where, you know, we can't forget the interview. That was the interview where he did state categorically that once the season was over, he was going to discuss his future then. Now, of course, it was very cryptic, and based on Ruben's professional thoughts, it confirms personal suspicions that he feels that Oblak does want to leave Atletico Madrid. Anyway, you guys, let me continue on. What was very interesting is that right now, Atletico Madrid haven't received any offers for any of their players. Now, this is quite revealing. We know that financially, Atleti are, you know, in some difficulties right now. COVID has not helped them whatsoever. They spent a ton of money in the last window too. And if Atleti want to improve and close that gap between Barcelona and Real Madrid, then they need to sell players to raise funds to bring in other players too. And to move on to the final segment of the first paragraph, it does state that if Oblak was to leave, this would be a terrible loss for the players, the staff, and of course the fans as well. Now, it's when things get to the second paragraph in this article that things start to get even more exciting and even more interesting. Right now, Atleti do not want to sell Oblak whatsoever, but they aren't in a situation where they can offer him higher wages, they can't update his contract, and currently they can't afford to make big signings for the next window to help close that gap time with Barca and Real Madrid. And to end the article, Ruben states that if a club makes an important bid, an important offer, that could be enough to persuade Oblak to make his concerns more public and maybe come out and publicly state that, yes, I want to leave Atletico Madrid. Currently, they're in a situation right now where finances aren't looking too good, but we do know that if you want to sign their player, you need to meet that release clause. It's really as simple as that. But due to these COVID times, due to just how unnatural the market is right now, could a club like Atletico Madrid be more open to negotiations and maybe if we come with a more creative way to get this deal done, maybe paying things off in installments or finding clauses or players to add to the deal to bring this fee down? I feel like even though it's very improbable that we'd sign an Oblak in this window due to just how much money he would cost, I don't think that he's a player we can categorically rule out at this point in time. Now, to give you guys my thoughts and opinions, we know that for the motto for this window and for future windows, and ever since Lampard came to the club, we won't be signing players that are 4th, 5th or 6th on our shortlist anymore. Right now, we only sign the best of what we can get and what we can target, and if we can't get them maybe for reasons out of our control or due to financial reasons, then we'd either go for these players in future windows or move on to other big targets as well. That is what we are trying to do right now. Liverpool have been used as the example time and time again, and as we've seen from their transfer policy where they've had a very high success rate in terms of players acclimatizing to Klopp's tactical demands and acclimatizing with the team as well, I feel like this is the best direction to take. Realistically, if Oblak was to continue his stay at Atletico Madrid, it's going to be a lot harder to win trophies that he wants. When you're one of the best players in the world in your position, you want to be in a position where you can constantly have an opportunity to win trophies you compete for. Still though, a lot of this does depend on players that we can sell and can get rid of. But there you guys is the update surrounding Oblak. To end with the final news story for today, I want to speak about the latest surrounding Ben, from what I'm hearing, and Emerson as well. Now to kick things off, I can tell you that players will be returning back to the club this week to kickstart pre-season training. As the players do return, Lampard is planning to use this opportunity to inform players of his plans for next season. For some players, unfortunately, it does mean that this will be the end of their Chelsea careers. One player in particular who will hear their final words from Frank Lampard is going to be Emerson, who currently has so much interest coming out from Serie A. From this point on, I'm going to start off by speaking about Emerson first. Now yes, we already know the consistent interest coming out from Juventus and from Inter Milan. In the case of Juventus though, ever since Maurizio Sarri was sacked and Polo has taken over, well, it does seem like the original transfer plans for some of our players might not be the case anymore. In the case of Jorginho, reports are suggesting that Polo is not interested in him whatsoever and is turning his interest to Tonali instead. And when it comes to Emerson as well, it seems like right now Juventus are focusing on other targets instead. This means that there is now a perfect window for Inter Milan to come in, sweep in and sign the player before other clubs like Napoli and Juventus come back to reignite their interest. Now we know that Conte has wanted Emerson ever since January, and it seems very likely right now that this will become a reality for next season. As I'm personally hearing you guys, I'm hearing that Emerson's sale to Inter Milan is in its advanced stages at this point in time. We want between 18 to 22 million, and as I've been stressing consistently, Emerson's sale is key. His sale is key because ideally we want to get rid of him first before finalising a final fee with Leicester City for Ben. As I've said, Emerson is key to this Ben deal. We need to get him off the books immediately, and if we were to sign a Ben first and then sold Emerson afterwards, it means that our transfer power could go away and go in the favour of Inter Milan, because we do know that Italian clubs have a history of, just changing negotiations to how they want and how they feel. And the last thing we want to do right now is lose a few extra million on Emerson in a period where all the bit of money we can collect for players we need to sell is very important for us to conduct other business in this window. This now moves us on very nicely to Ben, and I can confirm something to you that I did bring up in the previous video I did do on him, and that was that I was hearing conflicting reports suggesting that Ben did a medical in Greece. Now, I can clarify to you guys that right now, that in fact was the real deal. Ben did complete his medical in Greece, and at this point in time it does mean that Ben has agreed terms with us. He has completed his medical too, and right now everything falls down to selling Emerson first and then agreeing a final fee with Leicester City. Now in terms of other key details and the final fees and prices, right now, even though this is coming from very good sources and connects, everything is very conflicting at this point in time, and it's really no surprise. As we should know by now, when the club is silent, when there's not too much information coming out, this is the best time to get excited and get happy, because things are about to go down, you guys. Things are about to happen. We are working overtime to get this deal done. So it's no surprise that currently things will be kept under wraps. At this point in time, it seems like Lampard is going to sign another key target of his that he's wanted for a very long time. So to end this news story, you guys, I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions. Once we sign Kai and Ben, it now becomes a test to sell players and get them off our books. Players like your Drinkwaters, your Kennedys, your Michy Batshuayis, your Bakayokos. There's so many filler players that we don't need that we are currently struggling to sell and get the right prices for. One reality is that most clubs across Europe aren't spending the same way due to COVID-19. That's the reality why there isn't much spending being done. So for these reasons, I would not be surprised if many players were sold on loan deals with clauses inserted in their deals to state that the club that signs them on loan will have to buy them outright at the end of their current loan spell. I feel like that could be a way to get things done. I feel like certain players may get sold though. I think your Bakayokos, for example, he's had non-stop interest from teams in France and in Italy as well, and it seems like our stance on him has softened. We're waiting to sell him for less money, which is the same thing for Emerson as well and other players. So in that sense, some money is definitely coming back in for players. However, when you think of players like your Danny Drinkwaters, I mean, realistically, no club's going to spend 30 million, 20 million, 15 million. So he's going to be a difficult player to get off the books and sell too. I think one notable player too that would make a big difference in terms of the business we can do is whether we can sell Emerson and get him off our books. Now, the fact that Juventus have a new manager in Paolo really affects a ton of things because Sarri really wanted to sign Jorginho for Juventus. Right now, Jorginho has to be sold if we're hoping to raise the funds to sign a Declan Rice. However, and to end my point and to end this video, you guys, we might not sign every single player we want in this window. But that doesn't mean that we can't sign players again in January or for the following season. As I said at the start of this video, right now, when we sign players, we want to sign the very best we can possibly get. It's not about signing filler players or backup players or utility players anymore who end up having no long-term benefit for us. Right now, if we can't sign the best of what we want, then we won't sign anyone at all and we'll go again at a more suitable time. So for me, but just how difficult West Ham are going to be when it comes to selling Rice. I mean, they can't afford to sell him. If they sell Rice, there's a big possibility they could get relegated. So for those reasons, they're going to be very difficult to negotiate with, and especially due to the fact that we have to sell players first before we can even think about raising the funds to sign a Declan Rice. So in particular for this player, I would not be surprised that at some point in January or for next summer that he became one of our players. But there you have it, you guys. They were the stories for today. I hope you guys enjoyed my other insights on top as well. I'm in EFC. This is Blue Lines TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.